Dennis Neal, Monty TV, and another big CEO. We got Seth Merrin of Liquidnet, the good friend of mine. He's a great human being. Thanks for being with us, Seth. Now, this dark pool thing, why don't you start us off, because it sounds like Darth Vader, and it sounds like the federal regulators don't like it. A dark pool is actually nothing evil.
No, a dark pool, its concept is to allow institutions who have these massive amounts of money under management to be able to trade among themselves anonymously in large size. If you want to trade 100 shares, you can go to the exchange. If you want to trade 1,000,000 shares, you need very different tools to protect your information so lots of people don't jump ahead of you. Ultimately, it protects and it provides a much better return for all of the individuals that invest their money with these mutual funds and pension funds. Liquidnet is a network of 800 of the largest asset managers around the world. And what we asked them to do was pool all of their liquidity together in a brand new pool where there once was none. And we hook up buyers directly with sellers. Before Liquidnet came around, the only way that you could buy a block of stock was through a human intermediary. And that creates a lot of leakage, and it's highly inefficient. Only through technology can you match up somebody sitting in Australia who wants to buy a French stock with somebody sitting in California. So of course, we've done that. We've just connected buyer and seller, which is what technology can do. We're doing the same thing now with fixed income. Trading corporate bonds is a massive problem. There's a massive amount of money in corporate bonds, and traditionally, it's been dealer facilitated, and dealers don't have the capital to facilitate it anymore. So today, we're working on matching up buyers and sellers all over the globe to be able to trade corporate bonds among each other.
A lot of investors, institutional investors, see what happens to stocks after the IPO. And it looks like a lot of the value creation happens before the IPO, and then it goes public and it kind of stays there, might even go down a little. You guys now are starting to work to give private investors a way of investing in private companies?
Well, this is another part of the positive disruption that we're bringing, because capital markets, there hasn't been any innovation in capital markets since capital markets started. So, we have this massive pool of liquidity in 43 markets around the world. First, we started going to the public companies and we said, hey, you guys have the same problem. Every time you buy stock and sell stock, you do it in bulk. Come and trade with the institutions. And then we went to the venture capitalists, and every time they have a public exit, that's great, except for the rest of the stock that they still own. In which case, what our stats show is that when they try to sell it, they tank the market by about 20% on average. So again, come into the institutional pool and you have a much better execution. You save multiple percentage points on IRR. And finally, our institutional investors have seen the trajectory of the pre-IPO companies, the fast-growing pre-IPO companies, and unfortunately, the trajectory of the post-IPO companies has not been as stellar. So a lot of them now, in fact hundreds of them, are now very interested in buying in pre-IPO. So that's another opportunity that we can bring to the folks in Silicon Valley. We have an operation in Israel, and we can showcase and use technology to get to hundreds of these institutional investors who are not like the venture capitalists. They don't necessarily want a seat on the board. They don't want all the protection and provisions, but they want access to these fast-growing companies, and they're going to buy that stock when they do IPO, so it's a much better investor on your cap table.
All right, and lastly, Seth Merrin, why even come to Monty? Because the great thing about this summit is real deals get done here. You've got investors with checkbooks in hand, ready to invest in companies, but you guys are so rich and have such a big business, I'm not thinking you need to raise money here. So why come?
No, we're not here to raise money. We're here to get our name out, because we're well known among institutional investors, as you know, all over the world. But we're not as well known among the venture capitalists and the private companies that we could be helping to raise money. We're very much of a new form of investment bank. Global investment network is what we call it, because we have $14 trillion worth of assets that our asset managers collectively manage. That's a lot of capital to invest.
Your 800 asset manager customers collectively manage how much?
$14 trillion in equities alone.
That is most impressive. All right, and if you want to get the word out there among those private investors and those firms, it seems like you've come to the right place, because a lot of them are here at Monty TV. Seth Merrin, Liquidnet, thanks for being with us. All right, and we'll be back with still more.